Howdy folks, we're here in beautiful Woodfords, California, about to play paintball. Paintball is it's a fun family event that anybody can play. It does not require strength or too much skill or agility. We have people who play from the age of 12 to as old as 74, and anybody can win at the game. It's a game that I think just about anybody will enjoy. The most important aspect of paintballing is just to have fun and not be too competitive. We play with people who just want to have fun and are not here to win a prize or anything like that. All our equipment is you can get at any store. Not too expensive. Some people will go as far as getting $2,000 guns, which are just for show. A regular $150, $200 gun is just perfect for what we do out here. When I first learned about paintball, what scared me the most was I heard the word paint, and that really scared me because I thought, whoa, they're shooting the wilderness with paint? And me being the environmentalist that I am, I was haunted by that until this gentleman over here educated me on the fact that it's not paint. Since that time, I've taken a personal tour of one of the, and so has my colleague here, of the largest paintball manufacturer in the West Coast, and they have educated us in the fact that the gel capsule, the actual outer layer, is made very, very similar to what you take a vitamin pill. The inside is filled with vegetable oil and food coloring. It's 100% not toxic. You can swallow them. This gentleman here has swallowed one. You can swallow them. You can feed it to your dog. They won't eat it, but they're completely non-toxic. And the best part about playing with this type of paintballs is that you can shoot a tree and come back in about 4 hours, and you'd have a really hard time seeing the mark left on that tree. If you came back in about 12 hours, it's almost impossible to see that mark. In 36 hours, forget about it. You won't see the mark anymore on the tree. To give you an example of how biodegradable these paintballs are, 6 of us shot up a tree trunk on a Sunday afternoon and completely covered it with all kinds of colors under the sun. Came back on Friday, the following Friday, and I could not believe my eyes that there was zero evidence of markings on that tree trunk. So they're environmentally sound.
Well, that sounds great, but I see you have 7 people here. How do you set up to play this game today?
Okay, there are many different games that can be played. There's all kinds of games. There's Capture the Flag. There's Every Man for Himself, where just the last man standing wins, or woman. And there's various games that we play. There's all kinds. There's one called The President, where one person is designated as the president. And let's say it's this man over here is the president. Then what we'll do is you'd have a team of assassins on one side, and the rest are his bodyguards. The president gets a pistol being defined as no barrel, and that's all he gets. And then we try to get the president from point A to point B without getting assassin. There's various games to play. There's the Hunted. That's where one person goes out and hides, and the rest go get that person. Now, at first, that may not sound fair to the person being hunted, but here's where the advantage comes in. The person being hunted has the advantage of hiding first and watching where the group comes in to get that person, while the group coming in has no idea where that person is. So it balances out. And even though you can have one person being hunted and 5 or 6 people going after them, it's not uncommon for the hunted to win.
What game are you guys going to do today?
We're going to play the first game. It's up to these folks here, whatever anybody wants to do. We have all kinds. There's another game that's really complicated called Tag. That's a lot of fun. Tag is a complex game, but it goes on, and it can go for a long time. With Every Man for Himself, which is a standard game, we all start out, we all hide different areas, a whistle is blown, and then the game starts, and as you get picked off, you come back to the truck. So what I'm going to do now is if it's okay with you, is go over some of the rules that we play by.
Yes.
And to demonstrate the safety aspects. First of all, we define getting hit as a solid hit. It has to be a solid hit anywhere on your body, your shoe, your head, the gun barrel, the gun itself, a solid hit. Sprays do not count. So if you're behind a bush and the ball gets broken and you get sprayed upon, you're still in the game. It has to be a solid hit. The next thing is, a lot of time, you'll notice that a lot of us are wearing baggy, billowy clothing, see?
Yes.
And the reason for that is because when the paintball hits you, if you're wearing something like this, a lot of times you'll get lucky and it'll hit and it'll hurt, but it'll just bounce off. And so you're still in the game. So that kind of clothing is really great. Many people play with camouflage, as you see over here, with camouflage, and camouflage gives you a great advantage in this wilderness setting. Only one hit is all that's needed to be out. It's not necessary to hit the person multiple times. These do hurt, and because they do hurt, we have a rule as to how far you can shoot someone from the back. So if, for example, if I'm aiming in one direction and someone is only 40 feet away from me and they got my back, they would offer me surrender. And at that point in time, I can choose to put my gun up in the air and surrender and walk off the designated playing field. If you choose not to surrender, then it's on. From there it's on, and the distance is negated completely. Also, we have a very important rule about safeties. All these guns come equipped with a safety. So we agree that we put the safety on when we come to the regrouping area, where we reload paintballs, wash our mask, wipe paint off our bodies, clean the guns, or whatever is needed. We make sure that the safeties are on at that point.
Another good thing to add to that too is if you do have like a plug or a barrel condom is what they call it. When you come back, you put that on your gun, just because I've seen it at big games where people are standing around talking and their gun will go off if they didn't have a barrel plug or one of those on there that would shoot someone maybe in the face or something.
Yeah, and that would not be a good thing.
So that's a good idea.
What are some of the rules, Chad, that we go by? There's we define getting hit. We define we set boundaries that you don't cheat and go out of the boundaries.
If your gun or your hopper's hit and it's like a quarter size hit, then you're still out, because otherwise you could just sit there and put your gun out and just sit there and kind of waste paint on people.
Yeah.
And so it's a good idea to have that rule where if it hits that way you're not just sticking your gun out there and shooting, you're actually looking and aiming, playing a more strategic game.
And we've had people, like I said, we had a 74-year-old gentleman. He's got 2 bad knees, a bad heart, and he'll come out with his camo and he'll win many games. He'll just sit down someplace and just sit and don't move and wait for someone to walk by and takes him out, and he wins a lot of games this way. So it's just a family game that if you play with the right group of people, it's just fun and it's not very competitive. And the equipment is not too terribly expensive once you have the investment in it, and that's it. Paintballs are a case of 2,000 paintballs is anywhere approximately $50, depending on the quality. We get them usually from the factory direct, so save a little money there.
One other thing to add, just in terms of rules, is that when you do get hit and you see the splatter, check to make sure it actually broke on you and it's actually a good hit. But then raise your gun up, in the air like this and say, "Dead, I'm dead," really clearly, loudly, so that you don't continue to get shot at. Because if we don't see you do that, then we might think we missed and keep firing at you. So
exactly. And also we also make a point to keep our masks on until we're out of the designated playing field, because and also at the same time, you as you're walking off the playing field, you hold the gun in the air like so, and your mask is on. Reason so is that if you're walking like this, and someone might think that you're still in the game and will shoot you again for no reason.
How big is the playing field?
The playing field is size according to the group of people. Today we only have 7 people, so it's going to be a small designated area. When we have 18, 20 people, then we adjust the playing field larger, and we tell everyone not to exceed those boundaries, otherwise it would be cheating. And that is it. So we're going to go
these guns, they're not toys. You can get shot by these, and they can do some serious damage.
Oh,
Whenever
yeah.
you play, keep your mask down. Just
Yeah, I noticed you're
where's the
wearing
mask?
some pretty good safety gear. That's good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, unless you return to the field, outside the field of play, you always want to keep the mask on, even if it's getting fogged up and you're getting hot. You don't want to go, oh, take a breather as I'm walking off because I'm dead, because then you could still be in the line of fire.
Line of fire.
Well, how do you start and just split up and just go in different directions? And
Yes, and we're gonna I blow a whistle.
Then, okay.
Probably what we'll do at first maybe is play teams.
Want to do teams?
Yeah, play two teams, and we'll be a little lopsided, but
That's fine.
that's a good, especially since we have new people that have.
That's fine.
So you're not all by yourself out there.
That's good.
It's kind of good.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, right.
Let the games begin.
Hi, my name is Michael Smith for Nevada Trails. Tonight we have a very special show. I have young Matt Ahrens coming to teach me about paintballing. And Sunday he took me out to the Woodfords and we did some shooting. And thank you, Ralph, for that nice intro into some of the features and safety aspects of paintballing. But now Matt's going to show us more of paintballing as we experienced that day in the Woodfords. Thank you for joining the show.
Thank you.
And here we have a still of you. I believe it's just show me some of the equipment and the your safety mask and your camouflage and some of the things you have that kind of what Ralph had said as well.
Yeah, that's just pretty much us just gearing up. We pretty much just like take 5-10 minutes once we get out of the field just to get ready and get all our gear together and just go out and test everything. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of gear too.
Yeah.
Had CO2 cartridges, 2 boxes of bullets. Did we actually use those?
We used most of them, I think.
It was a lot of bullets. And the next shot we have one of the I think it was Chad was filling his hopper. And how many paintballs fit in a hopper?
The hopper can hold 200 paintballs, but it can hold more depending on how big of a hopper you get.
200. That's a lot of shots.
Not when you're just sitting there wasting paint, but you can get electronic hoppers, which will feed your paintballs into your gun faster. But for that, you'd probably need an electronic trigger, so you're just wasting batteries there. But I just use a conventional hopper, which is just a plastic tube thing, and you just put them in and you just fire.
Well, that sounds pretty simple.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about paintballing. And then we had a still shot of Ted and Chad. And this is when we're, I think, getting ready to, they're formulating their plan to go out in search of, is that your team? And they're going against the other team. Is that what I remember?
Actually, I think that's just all of us together during the safety meeting.
Well, I remember this is Roma and Chad and you were on that team, and the other 4 were separated from you guys, and you were about ready to leave.
Yeah, but that was during the safety meeting, and that's
No, we had already finished that.
yeah, that's Chad and
Roma?
and no, it's Chad and Ted Doyle.
No, that's Roma. I can see her. See?
Okay, well.
See her? Or is it? Oh, I can't see her. That's it is. You're right. Never mind.
And then, so that's just during the paint, our discussion on safety tips and all that Ralph was talking about earlier.
I missed that part.
And then, yeah, so.
Well, I guess I had it written down wrong. Okay. Then the next part you were talking about safety, and then this is one thing I didn't know about the paintballs that they wear baggy clothes and they make sure everyone had a helmet. And everybody had plenty of clothes, but it did create a welt if you got shot. So I don't know. They were pretty much telling everybody everyone had been there before, but they were still inquiring of how to go out and do it right. And so I thought before they left, they were pretty well prepared on just refreshing each other on safety. Which, as it turned out, you did get shot in the arm and got a little bit of a welt.
Yeah.
But.
They will leave bruises. Sometimes they'll leave welts. It all depends on how fast the gun's shooting and where you get shot.
Okay, and then the next shot we have someone hiding behind a tree because they started moving out and then they started dispersing and then they pretty much find their own positions.
Yeah, we kind of start out all clumped Then we just move out and we just go shoot each other.
Well, you had more of a plan like that than when you left. But part of it, though, is this was a beautiful. This was just a few days ago. And it was a beautiful day. It was warm initially, but it cooled off just nicely, and we had a nice sunset, and just everything looked good. And there's a lot of rocks at this location that was just down from the Woodfords station. And at this point, I'm pretty much staying back and watching it from a distance because I had never seen this before, so I didn't want to get shot. But I learned that it's not really paint; it's just soy, and so I wasn't really worried about anything. And then coming up, I think we have a shot of somebody I described as a ninja, but it probably isn't. But they're doing some shooting, and it was just very exciting. A lot of shots were a lot of banging and clicking. It sounded like we were in some kind of war movie for a while there.
Yeah, it'll get like that. I think the people who make the guns just try to make it as realistic as possible. Mm-hmm. That's why some people call them war games instead of paintball. And yeah, what he was doing was he was just he was trying to jump from tree to tree for cover. So
that was part of getting in position.
Yeah.
So, but part of the problem was I was filming it from a distance, so I couldn't really see the locations. And I thought it was pretty exciting because we have some of the sound effects, and those things come out of there. I don't know what the exact velocity is, but they're I know when you guys are just practicing, it was coming out about 10 balls a second. It seemed like.
Yeah, I have a friend of mine who can shoot 60 per second, but they shoot about 200 to 300 feet per second. Mm-hmm. Which is pretty fast considering a human can walk like 5 miles an hour. If you want to convert that to feet per second.
And didn't you run out of ammunition a couple times?
Yeah, I ran out of. I had to run back like 2 or 3 times because we were just shooting so fast and wasting so much paint that you just don't know. You can't keep a count on how many you have.
Well, that makes it tough. I don't know because it seemed like they were flying out, but it was everyone had a good time. Hadn't seen so many smiles in a long time, not only from the adults but the kids. So it was pretty nice. And as we looked at, it was a pretty like I said, beautiful day. And right by this area there was a babbling brook, and it was like I said, everything was safe, and everybody's running around, and it's a lot of exercise. And so I was just quite impressed with the organization of this little group. There were 7 people, and Ralph made sure that everybody was safe, and Chad made sure everyone was safe before they left the area. And then for my safety, they put an orange vest on me, and then later you'll see I did some farther in the field shooting. And but they made sure I was safe too, wore the helmet and the goggles and things. And right now we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll go to the next hunt, which was pretty exciting.
In order to protect our riding opportunities, we've got to tread lightly. That means staying on roads, trails, and areas designated for ATVs. Also, go over, not around trail obstacles to avoid widening trails. And cross rivers slowly, and only at places where the trail crosses the stream. Join the millions of responsible riders who protect our privileges and our natural resources by treading lightly in the outdoors. Visit Tread Lightly at treadlightly.org.
So, we've got our sniper we got Roma out there as our sniper. She's sitting there. All right. Now we're just behind these 2 trees trying to draw a fire. And, well, we hear our sniper engaging. So we run out, and I run out to try to try and disengage our sniper. And I just start spraying down rocks. And I run behind another rock, poke my head up, bam, right in the face. How much more ironic can that get?
Let's see the helmet again, please. You got nailed.
That's actually the best place to get nailed. Because A, you don't feel it, and B, you know you got hit. It's crazy.
And we're back, and I'm with Matt Ahrens, and we're talking about paintballing. In the second segment is that the sequence you just saw in that little videotape of Matt is when he came back from the hunt, everybody was so jazzed and just having such a good time. as somebody witnessing this for the first time, I thought the adrenaline rush was quite impressive. And he came back early and he got that eye shot, and the equipment took care of him, and he was fine, and he just had a great time. And it took about 10 more minutes for that particular game to end. But if I remember right, they played about 5 games, so they were out there quite a bit. And this is one of the shots we had of the Ninja. And then as you go to the next shot, you have part of the scenery we experienced. When these people are running through the woods and things, they're running over rocks and terrain and pine cones and all kinds of things. So it's not like you can just run and jump and fall down. You have to wait, pay attention to what you're doing.
Yeah, really. We use the rocks and stuff more for cover than for running around in. Because in a terrain like that, it's easier to just duck and hide than to move around. So.
Well, it was tough. I was just trying to walk through it, and about every foot was a small rock. But you can probably get some pretty good cover though.
Yeah.
So that was your plan.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because it seemed like a lot of times you were the aggressor going at people who were hiding.
Yeah, that's like we have some people. It depends on their playing styles. Like we have aggressive people who will just run in and just shoot them all. We have defensive people who just hide and take cover.
So when you know people's habits, then you tend to use that against them.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because the 2 boys we saw earlier, they pretty much worked as a team.
Yeah.
But how do you divide up that 2? Do you have like one guy come out and be someone that, I don't know, be shot at, and then when you draw the fire, and then you shoot them from behind or something?
Yeah, that's one thing you could do. Another thing you could do there's a set of trees. You have one guy run to the tree, the other guy run past him, then the other guy run past him, just having them cover.
So you got to be really moving.
Yeah.
And then in this stuff, it was very quiet, but like I said, you had to be careful because there's a lot of rocks there, and I kept on moving around. This is when I was actually out with them, and for safety, they made sure I had a helmet and sweatshirt on and an orange safety vest so they wouldn't shoot me. So I kind of appreciated that.
Yeah.
It was kind of nice. And then we had coming up, we talked about Chad earlier. Then we have this shot of, what's this shot? Well, I think one of the young guys.
That's Zach. And he's just popping out from that's Jack, and he's popping out from behind the rock just trying to shoot someone.
Well, I had a hard time seeing him. And I don't think I saw him until I saw his friend pop out a few feet to the right. And then I started watching that area, and he popped out.
Yeah.
But till then, I didn't see him at all.
Yeah.
And they worked as a team quite well. Yeah, I don't know if that was their plan to stay together, but in this particular day, it worked out pretty good.
Yeah.
I think in this shot we have Chad, who's a teacher at the Western Nevada Community College. He's one of the guys who was more aggressive in coming in towards him, and I think the young people pretty much let him have it.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, you got to be like sneaky in this game, and really, if you show yourself a lot, you'll get hit a lot. So that's what happens. Like he's sitting there running through the bushes, and we have like 6 guys just shooting at him.
Well, he lasted a long time. I think the last game he won though, didn't he?
Yeah, he's a pretty good player all around, but.
Yeah, because you found out that the really big guys, the tall adults, were getting nailed right away.
Yeah.
And I think you were doing good, except you kept on having equipment malfunction.
Yeah.
You ran out of CO2, and you were shooting your bullets too fast, so your pellets, no, paintballs. Never mind.
Yeah, it turns out my gun actually had a leak for that.
Oh, no.
So the tanks aren't that expensive to fill, though. They're like $4 to $6, depending on the size of tank.
So to get started, though, the cheapest gun's about $185.
100 to, like mine's 83.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the best gun I've had yet.
And then you can just pick that up at like Big Five or Walmart.
Yeah.
And then now, do they sell the paintballs too?
Yeah. Most places where you can get a paintball gun, you can get paintballs.
And then you need the helmet and gloves.
Yeah. Usually the helmet and gloves come with usually the helmet comes with the set for the gun, because the gun, it doesn't come fully assembled. You have the barrel, you have the hopper, you have the tank, and you have the gun.
So you have to assemble it yourself.
Yeah.
Well, you take it apart anyways to clean it and things.
Yeah. So it's pretty much just like field assembly.
Well, that sounds good. And this picture, I think, was before Chad got shot. And then we went to, I think it was Chad walking out. After he got shot, if you notice, one of the things they made sure everybody do for the rules is once you get shot, you walk out, you say out, and then you hold up your gun to let people know that you're out so you don't get in there get shot again just for, because they're walking out technically unarmed. But this is what they do planning-wise. They make sure that your gun's in the air and you're fully exposing yourself and you're staying out. And like I said, I was quite impressed for the safety.
Yeah, really, if you ever do like a full paintball match, you want someone who's organizing it, who's just like full out safety measures, like all the way. You don't want someone getting hurt. Well,
not only did Ralph do the part of the speech we saw earlier, I think Chad reiterated things, and so did you, about that it's not a toy. It's not a toy game, but it's respect what you're doing, but have fun, get outside, get away from the computers, and I'm pretty sure the Mr. Doyle was doing the same thing to the young kids when I was overhearing him.
Yeah.
And actually, same with Roma. We had everybody involved, and it was pretty much an agreement with the way the game was being played. So all the rules were there, and then as you'll see in the future, we had some other shots of some of the action going on. This one we have somebody taking off running. What happened is some people, Chad got shot. We're down to 2 people against Roma, and they finally had to move to get to a different spot to dig her out of the marsh, I guess.
Yeah, I think also Roma was shooting at them.
Yeah.
So they needed a better position because they were like right against the rocks there, right where she was.
Yeah, and it was she was rat-tatting, but I don't know if she could see them. But they decided to move on, and then over here they have I think it was by a tree shooting. He was I don't know if he could see her at that time, but he was putting some shots into her area. He might have been able to hear her.
Yeah.
But when I was wearing that helmet, it kind of fogged up. I couldn't see much. And I'm shooting this, so some of the shots might not be too clear because I couldn't focus.
Yeah, well, you got to get a mask that fits you, like, tightly. And then you got to use all your senses in the game. Like, you got to look for the person, and you got to hear the person. And you just got to do that.
Well, the hearing was important, and when I took my my helmet off, my glasses stuck in the visor, so you don't have to worry about your helmet or your glasses rolling around. It just maybe my breathing was coming up into the mask because maybe I didn't do it right. And the next shot, we had the 2 young boys that were working together so well. They I call this the mano a mano shot, where they're both almost in sync in what their target was. And this is just before one of them got picked off by Roma, which I think was only her 2nd or 3rd shoot, and she was pretty good. And she had these young men, I don't know, kind of in trouble there for a while because they weren't separating, and then finally they had to go get her out of the like I said, the marsh.
Yeah, I think what they eventually did was like you can use basic military tactics in this. They did a flank maneuver where they just outmaneuvered her. Like they went around her, and I think that's how she got shot.
Well, I remember she got one of them, and then there was because I was behind one was behind a tree, and I was behind him on the rocks, and some of her shots were coming at my ankles, but they were falling because they weren't reaching her, and then he was able to pick her off. And well, anyways, I had a great time out here in the Woodfords. If nothing else, it was something to experience, something new, and I've been invited to go back to do it again as a participant, and I really appreciate the hospitality this group gave me. And as I told Matt earlier, we'd like him to be part of Nevada Trails to go out and find more shows for us to do out in the outdoors. And hopefully you'll see Matt again as a director, producer, and writer, and all those good things, videographer. So if you see Matt with a camera, expect a good time because he'll be come out to shoot your event, and just let us know when and where, and we're going to show up. So anyways, Matt, thank you very much for being on Nevada Trails. It's been Michael Smith for Nevada Trails.